it's Sarah. Happy Wednesday. So I thought I would share a little bit more of a reading from September 7th, which I believe was over the weekend. And I just wanted to share, it was not this last Sunday, but the Sunday before. What I liked about this passage, I didn't end up posting it, but it was the morning passage, Mark 2:4, and it was when they could not get near him because of the crowd. They removed the roof above him, and when they had made an opening, they let down the bed on which the paralytic lay. Charles Spurgeon wrote as a sermon to explain this in this passage. Faith is full of creativity. The house was full, a crowd blocked the entry, but faith found a creative way of getting to the Lord and placing the paralytic before him. If we can't get sinners to Jesus by ordinary methods, we must use extraordinary ones. It seems, according to Luke 5:19, roof tiles had to be removed. That could create dust and cause a measure of danger to those below, but where the case is very urgent, we must be prepared to run some risks and shock some people. Jesus was there to heal, and therefore, roof or no roof, faith ventured also that the poor paralytic might have his sins forgiven. We need more daring, creative faith among us. Dear reader, let us seek it this morning for ourselves and for our fellow workers, and try today to perform some gallant act for the love of souls and the glory of the Lord. The world is constantly creating and inventing, and genius serves all the purposes of human desire. Can't faith invent too, and by some creative means reach the people who are strangers to the gospel? It was the presence of Jesus that stirred this victorious courage in the four friends of the paralytic. Is the Lord still present among us? Have we seen his face for ourselves this morning, and have we felt his healing power in our souls? If so, then through the door, the window, or the roof, let us overcome every hindrance in bringing others to Jesus. When faith and love are truly set on winning souls, we will learn to be creative in our approach. And if hunger for bread can break through stone walls, surely hunger for souls is not to be hindered in its efforts. O Lord, make us quick to suggest and employ methods of reaching our friends and neighbors and of introducing them to you. I love that prayer, and I really do love his sermon. What I got from that passage about Jesus and those that were desperately trying to reach him, that wanted to reach him, that could not get to him, and were going to the disciples and basically saying, what else can we do? We need to get in. They did what they needed to do to show how important it really was for these people to see Jesus and to get to him. So I like that, and it made me think about my own life. I'm going to take you on a walk with me. Dog's sitting right now. I'm with a friend's, and it's kind of a beautiful area. So what I really thought about was in my own life, about 10 years ago, God told me that it was important for me to stay focused on his truth in my life. Why? Because that's what he commands us in his word. When you think of your ministry, you think of your mission in life. Sometimes you want to think, okay, I have to be a part of this specific group at this specific church, and I have to do this specific thing in order to reach people. And yes, that might be true. For me, it wasn't quite the same. So I enjoy doing a lot of things that are fun, that are more creative and artsy and all that kind of stuff. I love music. I love concerts. I love just getting together with friends, hanging out, having a good time. I'm sure you all can relate to that, most of you. And when you are in those types of atmospheres, you have to make a lot of choices based on your values and based on God's word. And what I learned was that if I could just live my life, be the person that God was asking me to be, not necessarily outside of maybe just a Bible study or maybe a group, but living my life the way that I've learned is important for me. To do the things that I love and yet at the same time give the glory to the Lord. So that meant, obviously following God's word in those things, not necessarily doing things that maybe other people around me might be doing. And meeting friends along the way. You know, I met some friends, mutual friends, that were not Christians, but we had a love of music, right? And I decided that, you know, this person can still be in my life in certain ways, and I can reach out to them, but I can be creative in how we spend our time together and still be true to who I am and model who that needs to be should they choose the Lord themselves. Something that I found that was really important through this process was that I really do value true friendship. I'm not the best friend, I'm still learning, but in the things that I've learned, I found someone being there when you're going through a rough time is actually so important to help you feel like God's with you. Sometimes we need that connection with people in those really, really difficult moments of our life to know that we're not alone, you know, that God is with us, that He's listening, He's here, and He cares. And through that, I think sometimes in our relationships with other people, we can show that to them. We can show them how we feel when God is there for us, when He listens, when He cares, by treating them that way as well, doing that for them, being there for them, listening to them when they're having a hard time. And whether it's, you know, something you may not necessarily agree with, or maybe it's something that, you know, they're doing that they know is wrong, that's getting at them, they don't maybe want to admit it, you're still listening, you're still there for them. And I found that to be so important in my relationships with people, that they could know who I am, they could know what I believe, and at the same time I could be a friend, and I could also in turn encourage them because they know that I value them as a person, that they have worth, intrinsic worth, and it's not something that they have to prove to me or they have to understand. In this day and age, friends are very rare, and true friends are even more rare. We're almost like living in the age of, I guess you would say, fair weather friends, people who are flaky. You know, we don't necessarily seem to, put others first sometimes. We want to just stick with what we feel, how comfortable we are, how familiar we are with something, and we tend to base our time with others based on that. Sometimes it's, you know, just staying to our phones and not really getting out and building those quality friendships that we know we desperately need in our lives. And so a lot of my friends that are not Christians, they have unfortunately learned the difference between a true friend who's there for you because God has called them to be there for you, versus a fair weather friend, somebody who is not necessarily going to take the time to be selfless in moments where you need them, and in turn learning how to do that with them, right? So that's been how I've learned how to be creative in my life, in loving others and ministering to them, being with those that are desperately needing what God can only give us, which is the fruits of the Spirit, and in our character, building really lasting relationships and loving others. You know, a lot of times my friends that are they're not believers, or they're not quite there in their faith, they may or may not, sorry, there was a thing, they may or may not truly understand that they may not be the best friend either through those situations. So I just wanted to share that with you. That's when we can share God's love, you know. Anyway, I'm gonna get going. I'm at an intersection, so I'm gonna wait and see if I can actually cross. This is Sarah for September 7th. It's Wednesday, and God bless and goodbye.